Hey guys, what's going on? So today we have the SIG P365 and I'm going to show you how to put a ARMORYCRAFT trigger on the pistol. I also have the ARMORYCRAFT black plate on there, as you can see, hopefully. And the trigger, for the sake of this video and showing you how to do it, I will disassemble this and then we will reassemble it. For the purpose of this video, the tools that will be useful are a gunsmithing hammer, a slide block, possibly a pair of needle nose pliers, a set of steel and or brass punches, or both depending on what you like. I have both. These are my Starrett steel punches. And I also do have some Midioto brass punches. That's generally what I use because they're non-marring. And you also possibly need some lubrication. So in order to do this, let's just start by saying that this is unloaded and we're going to take the slide off the frame. Do that by pushing back and flipping the slide lever down and sliding it right off, like so. Okay. Now, we don't really need the slide for this, so we'll go ahead and set that out the way. And just let me make sure I got you all in there. Okay. So, then all you got to do is stick your, let me get a punch here. As you can see, right here, you have a pin. And what we want to do is just push this pin out right there. This pin is retained by a spring on the opposite side inside the frame, and that's what holds that in there. So just be FYI, and I'll show that to you. So all you got to do is just take it right there. Let me actually get one size up here on the brass punch, and just take it like so, and give it a quick tap, and that be it. And as you can see, that pops out like so. Doesn't matter which way you pop it. If it's still a little stuck, just take your brass punch and give it a little bit of a tap and get you your needle nose and just pop it out. As you can see on there, it's got a little groove on each side. They're both identical, so it doesn't matter which way it goes back in. And then after that, you just slide this whole assembly out, like so. This is your grip frame, and you're done with that. Set that to the side. And then you have your fire control unit right here. This is what you'll be needing to put this trigger in here. So now we'll go ahead and take it down, and we will show you how to put that in there, and hopefully you guys will learn something. So the first thing that you do want to do, well, I mean, this is just how I do it. You want to take your let me point to it here, make sure you guys can see it. You have this little thing right here, and you have your takedown lever that runs from back there up here to right there. Okay. You have a little stepped area, and this stepped area that I'm referring to is right there. If you run your punch up against it, you can see it stops. It's not level or flush. You want to lift this up to where it's kind of flush. And the reason being is you're going to want to be able to remove this right here. Now, if you pull this out too far, your little safety latch right here, oops, sorry, this little safety latch right here will fall out. It's held in by this. So you don't want this to fall out, because it's just, not that it's hard to put back in, but it is a little time consuming. So just keep this no higher than the top of this piece, and you shouldn't have any issues. Just pull it straight up a little bit. And while you're doing this, keep it on its side. That way, if you do lift it up just a little too much, that it does not fall out like so. So there you have it. That's what you want. And push this back down. And as you can see, it just kind of came right off. So we won't argue with that. I'm gonna go ahead and just tap this back down, because I don't to let it go back down. There we go. And all we did there was just push that back down, and then as you can see, your little safety flap right there is locked back into place. If it does fall out, it's just kind of a pain to get back in. Your takedown lever comes right out like so. Not too big of a deal there. So now you have your takedown lever and your takedown rod off like so. Next thing I like to do is take off this trigger spring right there. And I'm sorry I'm moving so much. I'm having to keep standing up and sitting down so that you guys can actually see what's happening. So you have this spring right there, and it runs through the frame, as you can see. Take a picture if you don't think you can remember. All you need to do is just push this up. Wrong size punch. Push this up with the punch. And if your punch wants to act crazy. Alright, sorry guys, took you out of frame there. So once you have this pushed up with your punch, as you can see, it'll pop up. And just slide this out. It's the same on both sides, so it'll go in either way. And it'll just go back through the frame. Like so. And it latches in this little slot. And then it goes back into that little hole right there. And I'll show you this more as we put it back together too. Alright, so now you have your fire control unit out and apart like that. Then all you gotta do is take your punch, and you got a hole right there. There's a pin right here, right there, and we're gonna punch it out through this hole right here. So let's go ahead and do that. There, sorry guys, there's the pin, just a round pin. The one from the factory is very loose, just FYI, so it'll just probably fall out. The ARMORYCRAFT one is much tighter tolerances. Alright, so let's zoom this just out just a little bit here, just so I can sit down for a moment. And if you just kind of maneuver this up like so, the trigger bar will come out. And then you can just kind of spin it up and pop it out like so. And there you have it. That's your fire control unit, and that's your actual trigger, as you can see. That's what it looks like completely out. Alright, so now you've got your pistol apart. and you want to get it back together. Obviously, doesn't do you no good apart. Hopefully I'm going to try to do everything right here. That way I know it's in frame, because I keep having to stand up in that. So just kind of bear with me. So all you got to do is, one, we've already got grease on there. You can see where it's grease from the factory. So go ahead and just kind of set your control unit like so in your block. And I like to take this and put that like so, and the trigger bar up underneath. If you see this, that tab, we're gonna rest it so that they connect like that onto the fire control unit. And you just gotta play with it a minute, and it will go in. These armor blocks are a huge help as well. And then slide it down, and then there you go. So now your trigger and your trigger bar are connected together, as they should be, in the fire control unit. Okay? So then you just want to toss it over like there, and that pin that we knocked out, you're just going to slide it back in. Now, this pin needs to be flush. It needs to be flush with the fire control unit frame. If it's not in there correctly. Get your brass punch or steel, whatever you got, whatever you prefer, and just tap it in. When it seats flush, it is correct. Like so. As you can see, hopefully, this is a flush fit right there. Needs to be flush. Alright, so now we have that locked in appropriately, and our bar is sliding as though it should. Cool beans, right? Now we'll flip it over this way. This is fairly simple in itself as well. And the reason I say have some lubricant is it's a good idea to put some lubricant on that pin that you just pushed through there. I already have lubricant on it, so I don't need to do it, but it's just a good idea to put some on there and, you know, reduce the friction on your new install right here. So yeah, there we have that, up like a so, as it should be, and it should be nice and you know, I don't want to say tight, but it should be snug, could fit right, you know. So there we have that. And then what you want to do is flip this bad boy over like a so. And I like to go ahead and add the spring back in. So I take it, and I'll kind of bring this up because I know it can be, and you slide it through this frame right there. You see the hole? That's where it's going to go right through. And it's literally going to rest right there. And then you take this other side and just take it like so. And you could do it however you want. I just use a punch, and I just kind of push it up. There we go. So what you see is your spring runs right there, and it's going right into this assembly right there. You can see the little end hanging out, and then the other side is right into there. If this is not flush, make sure it is, otherwise when you slide your magazine in, it'll scratch it right there. Just FYI. Alright, so now we have our spring on our trigger. Yay! Sorry about that. It was a process. Now, there's a couple ways to do this, and this is probably the hardest part. And I say that because people have a lot of trouble with it. But if you do it this way, you won't have a lot of trouble with it if you keep the unit, fire control unit, flat. If you tilt it or whatever, and you do it the way I'm about to show you, this safety latch, it will fall out. So just keep that in mind. I take this. First of all, let me show you this little groove right here. Okay. That groove goes right into that bar. Right there. It has to fit that way and it only goes that way. So, it also, when you put this bar in, has to fit up in between this little pin right here, or this little post. It fits in this groove right here. And it's a royal pain, and I'm going to show you here. Well, sometimes it is. This is simply, that's how it should look, right? Like so. No big deal, right? Yeah. Okay, that's until you try to introduce this trigger bar. Now, everyone says that you should take this, you can lift this up just like so, just a little bit, just like I was saying at the beginning, just to where it's like flush. And then they say you should stick this in like so into your space or into your fire control unit. And you'll have to forgive me, you will see the way it goes. It can only go one way. It's hard to see on camera, but it just wants to fit down inside of this unit like so, and then that is to be pushed back down. Now, they say, as you can see, this is how it should sit. Let's take that out so you can see. It should sit flush like that in the unit. But as you can see, you need to put this in first. This will only go in in a 7 o'clock position, and then it needs to be spun, which, as you can see where it cams on that knob, is not a groove. So it pushes it back down. So it's like that. So you put this in, great. Well, you're in there. Oh boy. And you gotta pick this bar up. And they say ideally you're supposed to be able, and I can't never do it with bare hands. I've always got to get a paper towel. And they say you're supposed to be able to push this up. And my hands are all chewed up, and it's got a kind of spring load to it. And they say you're supposed to be able to push it up, pushing toward the trigger, and spin it, and it should fall down in. Now I can tell you, you probably can't see the space in there, but I can tell you it's off quite a bit to get latched in there. I can't never get it. So what I do, you can try it that way. I tried like 50 times. I couldn't do it. So what I do, I take that out, and I take this thing and I lift it up, and I lift this thing up, and I lift it almost way higher than it should be. And like I said, if you spin this now or tilt it, that little latch safety flap is going to fall out. But this is the only way I can get this to work properly. So I take my pin and I put it in like so. Yeah, I'll slide my bar back. And that's, oops. There's really no great way to do this on the camera either, so sorry about that, guys. I get it like that, and I get it like so. And get it down like so. And there you have it. Push that in. Oops, see? And even like that, it popped back out. This needs to go in further, and it popped back out. It's a pain. So we'll do it again. You can play with it just like this time and time again. Eventually you may get it. I've got it I think one time by sheer accident where it actually worked, and that was it. I can't never do it, so I lift this thing up like so. I take this, put it in its 7 o'clock position as they want it. Get it to where it's seated, where it needs to be. Put it to the 4 o'clock position, like so. And I raised this up more than it should be. Needs to go up just a little more. I don't care how high up it goes. To me, it's still easier than doing that other stuff they were talking about. And then you will have to finagle with this piece to get it back down because you have raised it up too far, but you got everything else where it needs to be. So I take this thing and I just tap it in like that now, and at that point you've got everything how it needs to be. This is sitting flush and above that tab, and it's locked in to that. Alright, if that's the only way I can get it, it's the only way I can tell you. Take this and drop it right on in there. Push that like so. Take your pin, tap it in, take your punch, push it, and you can push it this way too. And if you notice, the pin will stay in there by that spring retention. Okay, got that. So then what you got to do is lift this up here, slide that forward, take your slide, make sure your safety flapper is down, put it on, and it should latch back into place. Verify functionality. Alright, take it, flip it down, take it off, verify, flip it up, and that's it. That's how you install the ARMORYCRAFT trigger on the SIG P365. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, I appreciate you, and I hope you enjoyed the video.